With the tightening and refocusing of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going on right now, I wanted to take the time to look back and break down all the Marvel films and shows that came out way back since 1998 with the first Blade film. I will cover all the canon and non-canon titles we had since then. And we are starting our Marvel Marathon Madness with 1998 Blade, the first of 3 films that came out starring Wesley Snipes as the titular human-vampire hybrid hero of Marvel. Blade is known as the Daywalker, an individual with all the strengths of a vampire but none of their weaknesses. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the plot. Blade's beginning was a rough one, as his mother was attacked by a vampire while she was still pregnant, and the attack caused her to go into premature labor. The physician managed to save the baby, but the mother unfortunately passes away. 3 decades later, the same child has become the vampire hunter Blade, a human-vampire hybrid that possesses the supernatural abilities of vampires without any of their weaknesses, apart from the requirement to consume human blood to survive. We jump to Blade dispatching a nightclub owned by the vampire Deacon Frost. After, the police take one of the vampires to the hospital, where he kills his physician and feeds on the hematologist Karen Jensen, and then he escapes. Blade finds Karen and then takes her to a safe house to be treated by his mentor Abraham Whistler. Whistler explains that he and Blade have been fighting a shadow war against vampires by using weapons based on their weaknesses, like sunlight, silver, and garlic. Meanwhile, at a meeting of the Council of Pureblood Vampire Elders, Frost, who is the leader of a faction of younger non-pureblood vampires and thus seen as socially inferior, is admonished for trying to incite war between vampires and humans. Meanwhile, Karen returns to her place where she is attacked by a police officer who is a familiar, meaning a human loyal to vampires. Blade subdues the officer and uses the information he gave him to locate an archive that contains pages from the Vampire Bible. Following that, Frost has one of the elders executed and strips the rest of them of their authority, as revenge for having been scolded. At the same time, Blade comes upon Pearl, a morbidly obese vampire, and tortures him with a UV light until Pearl reveals Deacon's plan. Frost wants to employ a ritual where he sacrifices 12 pure-blood vampires to awaken the blood god La Magra, and Blade's blood is the key. Later, at the safe house, Blade injects a special serum that suppresses his urge to drink blood, but we find out that the serum is beginning to lose its effectiveness due to overuse. Karen experiments with an anticoagulant agent as a possible replacement, during which she finds that it explodes when combined with vampire blood. She still manages to create a vaccine that can cure infected, but learns that it will not work on Blade. Frost and his men then attack the safe house, infecting Whistler and abducting Karen. Blade finds Whistler and helps him end the suffering. When Blade tries to save Karen, he is shocked to find his still-alive mother, who survived the birth and was brought in by Frost, who we find out is the vampire who bit her all that time ago. Blade is then subdued and taken to a temple where the ritual will be performed. Karen is thrown into a pit to be eaten by the same vampire that initially attacked her, but she manages to escape. Blade is then drained of his blood, but Karen allows him to drink from her, enabling him to recover. Frost completes the ritual and obtains the powers of La Magra. After destroying all of his minions in a badass action-packed fight, Blade confronts Frost as well as his mother. During their fight, Blade injects Frost with all the syringes of the vaccine, which causes his body to inflate and explode, killing him. Karen then offers to cure him, but Blade asks her to create an improved serum instead, so he can continue his battle against the darkness. I just love this movie. It is such a blast to watch Wesley Snipes go hog wild portraying Blade. This film had great effects for the time, intense martial arts, and a humor that can only be used by Snipes effectively. What is most important to remember about this film is the fact that it was the spark that ignited the love of comic book films and brought forth the beginning of Marvel's rise to a powerhouse that it is today. The next video we will cover will be Blade 2, and following that will be Blade Trinity. So stay tuned, and please do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for spending your time with me. Until our next adventure, y'all stay classy.